What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. For those of you who have never been to a supporter Q&A before, welcome. They're usually really low-key and fun. We just hang out and shoot the shit a little bit. Let me turn on some music. Let me know, as always, if it's a little too loud. I can always turn it back down. But welcome, guys. Who's all here? Wayfez, Jason, Psychotic, Duke, and Sean. Welcome, guys. And the other people that are watching the stream, thanks for tuning in. You can just sit back and hang out. We'll shoot the shit. With these supporter Q&As, I get questions from Patreon, which is we all know what Patreon is. I have a few questions from there, a lot less than normal. I didn't promote it as much as I should have. As you guys know, I was out of town and I didn't really blast it around as much as I should have. Dumb of me. But hopefully next month, I'll blast that thing well in advance of the date. But thanks to those who got their questions in. Thanks to those who are here. Darth Rodicus, good to see ya, man. Thanks for tuning in. Took coming in with the first super chat and channel support of the stream. I greatly appreciate that, man. Took says, tagged you in a tweet today you might find amusing. Number 2. Thank you for everything you do. Your content makes writing news fun each morning. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad I can help the writing process a little bit. I don't know how the hell you write and listen to shit. I couldn't do that, man. Let me I got a bunch of notifications here because I posted something that got a lot of response. Let's see. Oh, you hear my daughter crying? Cool. First day of preseason hockey camp, and Hello Greedo gets pucked in the helmet. That's awesome. Right across the mouth, right across the frown, right across the cheek. That's hilarious, man. That's. I hope that thing gets beat the hell up. That sticker, that is, not your son. I hope that sticker gets torn to shreds and beat the hell up, and have a little scar tissue on it. That's awesome, man. But I appreciate that support on multiple fronts tonight. And if anybody, I'm gonna like it. I guess you can, if anybody wants to see what Took tagged me and go to my likes. That's pretty awesome. You know what? How about this? Let's see. Perfect. Retweeted it. There we go. Let me make sure everything's up and running good. I hopped on here after cleaning up from dinner, giving my daughter a bath. I just rushed to the computer. Hopped on here. All right, guys. Welcome one and all once again. I'll have to listen to your response later. Unfortunately, I can't stay long with a long day with a terrible breaking news story up here. Have a good stream, Greedo. Have a good night, everybody else. But yeah, man, I hope everything's all right. And thanks for dropping in, man. I appreciate that. Makatsi, good to see you, Makatsi. So yeah, if anybody in the chat has any questions, I'm an open book as always. Let's shoot the shit. Ask away. I am game for whatever. Let me run to the Patreon questions here. First and foremost, the first Patreon question comes from Mr. Psychotic. Psychotic says, as another month rolls around, so does another Q&A. My question for this month is, how are you able to stay motivated to do the things you do now? I want to do stuff like draw, make my comic, design, etc., but I don't usually have any motivation. So I want to know how you do it. Also in DM on Twitter, the best way to get a hold of you. Yes, to answer that question, yes. I messaged you a month ago about the Stormtrooper book, but I haven't got a reply yet. Oh shit. I'm very, very far behind in my DMs, as you always know. I'm horrible about that, man. I've checked my Instagram DMs like maybe 3 times in the entire time I've had an Instagram, and it's hilarious. I'll like the 3 times that I've checked it, I have year-old replies and stuff or messages. I'm horrible at that, man. But eventually I'll definitely get around to it. I know you're busy. I just was wondering. Have a good one, and thank you for everything. Absolutely, man. I hope everything's going well for you. So how do I stay motivated? Golly, I don't have a choice. It's in my brain. I feel like I don't have a choice. I do a bunch of freelance stuff, which always keeps me busy. I do Greedo all the time, and yeah, I do, like, I guess another form of freelance too. So I have a lot of shit that I do on top of taking care of my daughter. So like to stay motivated, you know, I have to. I don't have a choice, you know. It's my daughter's with me. If I don't wake up at 4:30 every morning, nothing gets done. If I don't stay up late working on stuff, nothing gets done. But I also have to have, you know, family time too, with the wife and everything. So it's a very difficult balance. Motivation for me is like, I just tell myself, you're waking up at 4:30 and this is what you're doing. I don't let myself fluctuate on that. There's no negotiations. I do it, you know. I do it. 4:30 every morning, and I immediately get on the computer and I start writing some videos and working on stuff that's pressing, you know. It's very difficult to kind of put into words what keeps me motivated. I really don't know. I think it's just it's a love for the shit that I like, that I do. You know, Greedo and the freelance stuff, it's fun. They're artistic projects. That's how I see them. Like this Q&A overlay, for example. I love doing these Q&As. I love doing these live streams because of this Lightspeed Lounge Subaru Crosstrek overlay that I created. It's a project of passion. It's a little art project, and that's how I feel about every one of my videos. And you know, I try not to hash over the same shit, and I hope, you know, I see a lot of what I consider creatively bankrupt videos or series and stuff like that, and it's just kind of rehashing the same shit. It's reminds me of talk radio in a way, where they just bang out the same subjects over and over again, and then just the same talking points over and over again. Is boring as fuck. And the difference and the new projects and the new research that I like doing for some of my videos really keeps me motivated, you know. But yeah. So yeah, motivation, I guess, would be different for everybody. Psychotic. I really don't know what would make you motivated, keep you motivated. But you know, I would just say allot yourself an hour each day and just say, this is the hour that I'm working on stuff, and make that the hour, you know, start to finish. And then once you're done, if you don't feel like doing it, you don't have to, but set aside that hour, put your phone away, turn off the TV, and work on stuff, you know. I think that's what I do, at least. But anyway, Psychotic, as always, man, I appreciate the support on all fronts. And do not worry about people not reading your comic. It's you know, it's hard to get into that kind of stuff. It's hard to get people to read your stuff. It's hard to get people to pay attention to any kind of creative endeavor. But as Grant just said, write for you, not for them. That's the best advice you can possibly give somebody, Grant. No question about it. That goes for any creative endeavor. Whether you're writing a screenplay or an album, you know, write for you, not for them. You got to make the things that you want to make. No question about it. And Grant Guthrie, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support this evening, man. I greatly appreciate that. Question: is there anything you dislike about the pre-special edition OT, or something you wish was done better? Ooh, yeah, I've always had a problem with kind of rehashing the Death Star idea, the whole second Death Star idea. That's really the only issue that I've ever had, and it's one that I often just kind of glance over, because as I've gotten older, my edges have smoothed. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. It has my favorite lightsaber fight of all time, potentially my favorite space battle of all time, maybe right behind the A New Hope Death Star trench run space battle. Yeah, that's really it, to tell you the truth. Just the Return of the Jedi, the second Death Star has always felt unimaginative to me. It just kind of feels like a completely safe bet. It's just another Death Star that's being built. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna do a super weapon, do something different. It's already, you know, they already destroyed one. Build something new. But that's probably a very common complaint, you know. I don't hear very many people complaining about the OT, so I haven't really been down that rabbit hole, especially not with Return of the Jedi. You know, I've done a series with A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, where I read old fan reactions and read old movie reviews from when the movie just first came out. I have not done that yet with Return of the Jedi. And Grant, I didn't think of doing it until just now. So I appreciate you sparking that that idea there. I'd be willing to guess some people are complaining about that in the very original 1983 reviews, right? Wouldn't you say so? So, yeah, that's pretty much it, Grant. I would say so. That's pretty much it, to tell you the truth. But yeah. But I appreciate that support this evening, man. I'm really trying to think of something different, but that's really my only big unimaginative complaint, you know. Mad Dog Productions, good to see you, man. Mad Dog says, Greedo, I highly suggest you watch A Silent Voice on Netflix. I used to want to get into anime because it looked cool, and after watching A Silent Voice, I can't get enough of anime. I'm gonna look this up. Is this Silent Voice? A Silent Voice. Yeah, I'm kind of like you. I don't know anything about anime. Well, I maybe you do now. I guess you do. I've never watched any of... Well, when I was maybe 11 or 12, I had a neighbor who was really into Dragon Ball Z, and I never got into it. I watched a few episodes with him, but I'd never really paid attention. And yeah, I've always thought it looked kind of cool. I like the art style. I've always thought the art style was neat, and but for whatever reason, I've never really given it a shot. A Silent Voice, a beautifully crafted as it is, powerfully written. Oh, as beautifully crafted as it is, powerfully written. A Silent Voice looks at teen bullying from a sobering, hard-hitting perspective that's uncommon for the animated medium. Interesting. Okay. I'm just checking out reviews. Huh. Yeah, I like the art style of this as well. Maybe I'll give it a shot. My wife is going out of town this weekend, so maybe I'll do a little bit of a Silent Voice anime experimentation there. What do you think? Might as well, huh? Might as well. All right, Patreon. Let's head to Patreon. Scroll up a little bit here. I wish I could scroll faster. What's up, Jason? Good to see you, man. All right, the next question comes from Paul Robinson. You guys know the spiel about Paul. He's been around the Hello Greedo block since the beginning. I appreciate that support as always, Paul. It's good to see you, man. Paul says, so I found out this week that there is a movie doing the rounds that's sort of, kind of, very almost actually about my past. What? It's called Blinded by the Light. Oh, yeah. And it's a true story of a guy I actually went to sixth form with. Is that sixth grade? I don't think I've ever heard that term. So you could argue that some of the background characters could be me. So my question is, Hollywood comes knocking for Hello Greedo, the movie. Who do you want to play you? If they actually made a film about adult me, I'd cast Nick Frost. Yeah, I see it. As always, big love to you and the family. Actually thought you might have rolled out in JJ We Trust again this summer. All the best from a very warm Cardiff Bay. That's a cool question. So is it written? Let me see. It's true story. Actually, true story. Oh, okay. So is it written by the guy you went to high school with? Or sixth form, I suppose it's called. That's pretty awesome. I've seen commercials for it a few times now. It's the Springsteen, right? Or am I thinking of something different? Blinded by the Light. Blinded by the Light. Yep, Springsteen. Okay. Pakistani descendant growing up in 1987 England. Amidst the racial and economic turmoil of the times, he writes poetry as a means to escape the intolerance of his hometown and the inflexibility of his traditional father. But when a classmate introduces him to the music of Bruce Springsteen, Javed? I'm an idiot. Sees parallels to his working class life in the powerful lyrics. Nice. Yeah, that immediately piqued my interest as soon as I saw the commercial. So, when does it come out? Friday, August 16th. So, a couple days from now. Nice. So, who would I want to play? Me? Well, my sister and my mom and my cousin and a few people have always said that I resemble Leonardo DiCaprio. Take that as you will. But I don't know. I think let's go with that. I've seen him. Everything I've seen him in, I think he's fucking fantastic. He's one of the best actors working today. Any movie that he's in, I want to see. He would no doubt play a very boring middle-class suburbia me. So yeah, Paul, I'll go with that. How about that? I'll go with that. But my In JJ We Trust t-shirt, let me take a quick sip. My In JJ We Trust t-shirt, I have two. One of them is so filthy because when we sold our house and we repainted the house, and that was my painting shirt. Like, we were all I pretty much packed up everything except for t-shirts and stuff like that, and I had a couple weeks to paint. And I painted the house and pretty much wore that In JJ We Trust shirt every single day that I painted. And it's just covered in paint, and it's like, I mean, we all have those clothes, right? You're painting shorts, you're painting clothes, and it's just whatever, they're completely ruined. I wish I wouldn't have done that now, because I could have I definitely could have wore it for future videos and whatnot. But I do have the long sleeve In JJ We Trust shirt, the one just with the hair and the glasses, and it says In JJ We Trust. I do have that one. But God, it's hard to believe, Paul. It's been so long since that. I mean, I probably started that 4.5, 5 years ago, right? The In JJ We Trust thing. I mean, that just feels so. It already feels like another lifetime. It's just crazy to think about. That was just the ultimate hype, right? We'll never feel like that again. At least I won't. I don't think. I mean, which makes sense. A decade without Star Wars, and all of a sudden it's back. Boom. And that hype and that anticipation. I don't know if I will ever feel that again, just because the amount of Star Wars stuff that we've gotten in the past 4 years or so, compared to what we were used to decades prior. But yeah, man, that In JJ We Trust time will always be one of my favorite kind of Star Wars memories for sure. But yeah, I hope everything's going well for you, man. And yeah, In JJ We Trust, right? JJ We Trust. Let's see. Bum, 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 ba bum, bum, bum. Just hanging typing? What do you mean, typing what? Ooh, this one's a long one. Let's see. Darth Rodicus, you still in the chat? Oh wait, that's Darth Sean, never mind. The next question comes from Darth Rodicus. Darth Rodicus says, "Hey Greedo, this is my first ever Q&A after seeing your..." Oh, nice. Good to see you, Darth. I knew I saw you up there earlier. I just didn't scroll up high enough. There we go. No, you're good. I like the long ones. Let me take a quick sip once again. Can't get enough. Darth Rodicus says, "Hey Greedo, this is my first ever Q&A. After seeing your Super Shadow video, my first HG video." That's a good one to have as your first Hello Greedo video. That's one of my favorite videos I've ever made for sure. Kind of a time capsule. And anyway, YouTube suggested a video where you watched your very first video. I got about a minute into it and just decided to watch your first video. then your second video, which turned into spending the whole month of July watching all your videos in order that you posted them. Huge fan of your work and how hilarious yet thought-provoking your content can be. You've been super cool and welcoming of me and your live streams, and I just wanted to thank you. As for my first question, who would you rather sit down and have a beer with, George Lucas or J.J. Abrams? Definitely Lucas. Definitely Lucas. Not that that's nothing against Abrams, obviously, but well, first of all, thank you so much for all the kind words. That's too nice. That's entirely too nice. But it's really cool to hear that you watched the back catalog of Greedo, and I guess you saw the evolution of the channel, which is kind of neat to think about. And you started out with a good video. You started out with one of my favorite videos I've ever made, the Super Shadow video. And if anybody watching this right now has not seen that, just Google Hello Greedo. I think the first Star Wars internet troll is what the video is called. Love that video. Yeah, I would rather have a beer with Lucas, and you know, it would be tempting to ask Star Wars questions, but I don't know if I would want to. You know, I mean, imagine being a part of something for 40 plus years, and there is no new question that someone can ask you, right? There's no new question, and I'm sure it gets exhausting and whatnot. I would want to just, I don't know, pick his brain a little bit, talk about life, talk about being a dad, because, you know, he dropped everything after A New Hope. He decided not to direct episodes 5 and 6 and rather be a dad and raise his kid. And I'd just like to talk to him about that kind of stuff, you know. And also what his future plans are, if any, when it comes to filmmaking and stuff. I know he briefly mentioned something like making his own movies and only showing them to his friends. I don't know if that was a joke, or if that was something that was taken out of context and then I read it and didn't really understand the full context of it. But I would like to pick his brain about maybe future plans, you know, because I'd love to see more Lucas. I'm always curious, like, if Star Wars was not what it was, if it didn't blow up into this huge thing and kind of consume his life, what else would he have done? You know, if he did go on to direct Apocalypse Now like he was going to, what other movies would he have made after that? You know, it's interesting to think about. But that's not a question I would ask him, because it's kind of, you know, I don't like those what if questions. You know, the past is done. You know, he created a universe, but yeah. I hope I answered your question there. Yeah, you started with a good video for sure. For sure. I will toot my own horn on that video. I like that video. That's a solid video. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Let me take a quick sip. Type in Google clickbait dance Hello Greedo first result. Oh, of course. That's my dance, man. Darth Vader, I grew up with the prequels, and that's my Star Wars, but I still enjoy the anti-prequel videos from your older stuff. Setting the Phantom Menace VHS on fire, I got a kick out of. Those were awesome. Thanks, man. So a lot of those videos I kind of cringe at. A lot of the things that I said, I can kind of see how. I don't know, like even just 5 years ago, 6 years ago, thinking back on some of those videos, I'm like, I was young and dumb, you know, I was a little too aggressive. Well, you can tell, I've definitely mellowed out. Although some of those videos are just in good fun, like the Phantom Menace horror story video where I set that on fire. You know, there was no opinion in that. It was just literally me wanting to do kind of an experimental, little silly video. You know, I got some friends to help me make it, and I just thought of fun shots to do, and it just happened to be a Phantom Menace VHS that I messed with, you know. But that's funny. It's funny. I haven't watched those videos in years, man. I haven't watched those videos in years. But yeah. What's up, Brian? Inside of Revenge of the Sith is fantastic. The Jar Jar to Catch a Predator style was pure genius. Yeah, that was fun to make too. That's one of my favorite things I've ever. That's one of the things that I had the most fun making. Let's just say that. Dude, Brian, I've had people say, like, comment on that video even recently saying, like, Hello Greedo thinks all prequel fans are pedophiles. He said it in his Revenge of the Sith video, and I'm sitting back like, are you dumb? Are you dumb? Are you playing a game? Did you watch the video and you're just trying to stir shit up? Because that is not what the video is about at all. People are silly. But yeah, dude, that was one of my favorite things I've ever made, in terms of having fun making something, because, you know, I would set the camera up and I would change outfits real quick and hop on the other side, hit play on the audio and mime to the audio, and then I would move the camera to a different location and do the same exact thing. And I shot a gun battle in my house, and that was another example of me wanting to try something new and different and just going for it. When I move into the new house, I'm planning on doing stuff like that. I think a new space will kind of be nice for a little bit of creative push. Utilize my new office, utilize my new house, and kind of think of some fun stuff to do. I'll probably end up doing another blaster battle in my new house, just because that was really fun to make, and yeah, I mean, it's fun to put together. Let's just say that. And I don't know what the context will be. I don't know what the video will be about, but I will figure a way out, because that was fun. That was fun to make for sure. Dude, people make up some crazy stuff about you that isn't even true. It's hilarious, Darth. It's absolutely hilarious. Yeah. I love it though, because I love it though, Darth, because it shows how fucking dumb and silly a lot of people are, that obviously are just trying to stir some shit up, that completely make up quotes from me, that completely misrepresent intentionally my arguments, that just completely misrepresent this channel altogether, in order to serve their own interests and their own benefit, you know? And whenever I see that, I just go, oh, he's a silly fucking goose, you know? It's just so transparently dumb. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit, like, what other channels or viewers or viewers of other channels think of Hello Greedo. It's just personally satisfying to see how much people are liars to serve their own interests. Does that make sense? It makes me go, oh man, these people are fucking dumb. Well, yeah. Psychotic. I'll miss the old house. It looked cool. I loved that house, man. But, you know, time to move. Ran out of space. Sorry. No problem, Psychotic. Good to see you, man. Let's see. Yeah, next Q&A. I'll probably stream tomorrow, so if you're on, I'll see you then. If you're not, I'll see you next time. But thanks for dropping in, man. I appreciate the support as always. If you need any coverage from D23, let me know. Heading there on Saturday thanks to a friend, and they won't be streaming. Oh, they really won't? Oh, interesting. Nice. Yeah, send me some DMs. I'll keep an eye out. Or shoot me some tweets. I'll keep an eye out. You're probably better off sending me tweets, because I don't check my DMs. But if you give me a heads up, maybe. But yeah, man. I didn't realize they're not streaming anything. Keeping it close to their chest, huh? The next question from Patreon. Let me scroll up here real quick. All right. The next question comes from Ari. Ari says, how do you feel about Star Wars and politics mixing? You know, that has never bothered me whatsoever. Not just with Star Wars, but with fiction in general, especially science fiction, because science fiction, for the most part, a good science fiction. There's a great Steven Spielberg quote, and I'm an idiot and I can't remember it, but kind of, you know, science fiction is for the most part a commentary on the world today. Look at Star Trek, at least old Star Trek. It's a commentary from the future about the world today. And Star Wars has never been without politics, right? I mean, I actually made a video recently about the Vietnam War and Star Wars, and how Lucas said that Star Wars was basically the Vietnam War, and he said that the Emperor was Richard Nixon, and you know, politics in Star Wars, by osmosis, even by just virtue of living in the world and paying attention to the world, you know, you're going to be influenced by certain things that happen. It's almost unavoidable. So for that, I've never had a problem with it. And I mean, shit, the prequels are even more so overtly political. A lot of the quotes that Anakin says, a lot of the character names, I mean, there are quotes in the movie that are very similar to quotes from George W. Bush and speeches, and there's characters' names, like Newt Gunray is supposedly Newt Gingrich, and there's just all sorts of political, not undertones, overtones to a lot of those movies. So I've never had a problem with it. Because it's always been there, and the people that do have a problem with it, I guess I get it. But are you gonna have a problem with it in all the films? Because it's always been there, and I would argue that it's always been there far more overtly than it is now. There is no, I mean, whatever, argue it all day long, but when it comes to politics, the past films are way more overtly political than these modern films. No fucking question in my mind. But yeah. There's even politics in the cantina scene. Absolutely, yeah. The bartender says, "We don't serve their kind." That's what the bartender says. That is social commentary. No question about it. So, you know, if you're going to have a problem with modern day whatever, then you got to have a problem with the past stuff too. Just because you were a kid and you didn't understand it back then, and now you're a 40-something, 30-something year old dude and you got a problem with it now, you're just going to ignore the old stuff? Convenient. But I don't know. Doesn't bother me. And like I said, you know, Star Wars is a little different than something like Star Trek or even The Matrix or even Children of Men, or throw in Sunshine, throw in whatever science fiction movie or TV show. Those are more, you know, in our world. They're like I said, they're commentary on the modern world told from the future. And maybe people have an issue with it being in Star Wars because it's not a part of our world. It's not like future Earth. But that's never stopped them before. They've been chock full of politics. So yeah, I've never had an issue with it. I mean, one of my obsessions is going back and reading archived websites and news articles and magazines and stuff like that, and do a search for Star Wars politics from, I don't know, 2003 to 2006, and people are complaining about the politics in Revenge of the Sith. So it's always been there. People have always complained about it, but hey, what can you do? You got to make the thing that you want to make, and by osmosis, maybe get influenced by some worldly events, you know. But yeah. Caleb Kemp, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I greatly appreciate that, man. What do you do if and when you go through a dry spell and lack inspiration? That is a good question. Let me take a quick sip. First of all, Caleb, thank you so much for the support tonight. It is greatly appreciated. So if I lack any kind of inspiration for a video, golly, I never force it. Let's just say that. I never force content. I only make what I feel is necessary. I don't feel like I need to put out a video every day. I don't feel like I need to run shit into the ground, you know what I mean? If inspiration, well, it depends. If we're talking about commentary on something that's happening in the fandom, then the inspiration comes pretty quick with some rumors and stuff like that. I can run my mouth about the rumor machine. Been in this goddamn game for 8 years now. I've seen thousands, literally thousands of rumors come and go, and they've all fizzled out to nothing. So I can run with fandom commentary and talking about news and stuff like that all day. But if you're talking about I don't know, just inspiration for skits or inspiration for video topics even, then it's a little more difficult, because I'll kind of sit back and take a little break until something comes to me. Because there's always stuff to the Clone Wars, and there's always stuff to review, but for video topic inspiration, sometimes I'll just go back to those archived things that I was just talking about and read a few passages and read a few reviews, or maybe read some hype from a 1976 magazine that had a preview of Star Wars in it, you know, and it will give me an inspiration for some video ideas. But golly, if I'm having a dry spell though, I never feel pressured to force it out. Eventually, you know, an idea will come to me. And sometimes I'll be in the middle of typing a video, and just like a news video or something like that, and then all of a sudden I'll type a sentence, and I'm trying to think of an example where this has happened, but middle of writing another video, I'll go, oh shit, that's actually a cool video idea, and I'll just pivot my entire focus from that news video to a different type of video, and that news video will just fizzle out and never become a thing. That's sometimes why, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that sometimes I'm not very topical on this channel. You know, new books will come out, comics, news, pictures, whatever will come out, and I'll be talking about fucking Phantom Menace reviews from 1999. Because that shit interests me more so than a couple pictures being released, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I tend to read a lot of archive stuff. I'll put it that way, especially in the past couple of years. If I just put my nose to the computer for a couple hours and root around in some old Starlog magazines or, you know, something like that, I'll get an inspiration for a video topic for sure. And I think everybody has their own version of a Starlog magazine, right? Something you'll go to read, or something you'll go to flip through and look at, and maybe get a little bit of a jolt of inspiration. But I hope I hope I answered your question. For me, this is a project of fun. It's a project of passion, and I've never felt pressured to force anything. You know, like I said, I've never felt pressured to upload every day, run shit into the ground. So slow and steady wins the race, and yeah, I don't know. I hope I answered your question though, man. That's a really tough question, you know, a really tough question, because I don't know. It's different for everybody, you know. My inspirational time, I would say, is I wake up at 4:30 every morning, and I usually listen to some, I sound silly, but synthwave, really relaxing music, kind of ambient music sometimes, and just bring up a notepad file and just start typing. Just write a couple characters' names down and see if I can come up with something. And I don't know. I really don't know. That is a very difficult question. But yeah, Caleb, I appreciate that, man. And if I didn't answer your question, I apologize. Yeah. Let me scroll up a little bit. Take it easy, Mad Dog. I really like the stream, and I'm glad you got to see one of my questions. Messages. See ya, chat, and Greedo. Take it easy, man. Thanks for dropping by. All right, another sip of water. I'm gonna need to bring two giant things of water next time. All right. The next question comes from Fifi Gable. Howdy, HG. Have you finished watching the Clone Wars yet? Also, have you been to the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum? That's one of my favorite museums, second only to the Smithsonian Museum of African American History and Culture. Keep on keeping on, youngling. So, no, I'm not done with the Clone Wars yet. I have... You know what? Let me bring up my list real quick, Fifi, and let me... Well, where is my list? There we go. Clone Wars list. Mandalorian Civil War. Senate Spy. No, let's see. I think I watched... Oh, okay. I have a lot more to go than I thought. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15... 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 more episodes. Shit, I thought I had like 10. Okay, what day does the Clone Wars Season 7 come out? Release date. November 12th. So I have... August, September, October, November. I have about 3 months on the dot. 3 months on the dot, if that's correct. November 12th. 3 months on the dot. And I have 25. So I would have to average... Somebody do the math. Somebody do the math. How many... If I have 25 episodes left and let's say... Let's just... I'm not going to count the exact days, but... Let's just say close to... Let's just say 80. Let's just say 80 days and 25 episodes. How many review videos would I need to put out to be completed in time? Does that make sense? So, I have a lot more than I thought. My goal, Fifi, is to... Yeah, my goal is to... finish the Clone Wars in before Season 7 comes along. And this weekend, I'm actually planning on watching a bunch of episodes. That is my goal this weekend because my wife is going out of town from Thursday to Sunday. And my goal is to every night watch a couple episodes, hash out some scripts for them, and maybe watch 10 episodes this weekend and write 10 scripts. That's my goal. And I'm pretty much dead set on doing that. And that's my absolute goal. So, I will. I will. And yes, I have been to the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. I went to DC in 2011, I think it was 2011. That sounds right. That's where I proposed to my wife, up in DC. So yeah, I loved it. You know me. I'm obsessed with that. That is my bread and butter. So I thoroughly enjoyed going. I'm trying to think. We went to a lot of museums. We went to the Holocaust Museum. We went to Ford's Theater. We went to golly, we did a lot. I can't remember. We did Natural History Museum. There's a medicine museum I think we did too. God, I can't even remember now. But yeah, I love it up there. I've only been up there that one time, but we did a ton, and we just walked the entire time and absolutely loved it. I'd love to go back. That was a trip that we did right after I came home. Well, the same year that I came home from deployment. So, oh no, wait, let me think. Oh no, I went in 2013. Yeah, I went in 2013, I think. Yes, I went in 2013. Yep. So, thoroughly enjoyed myself though. And at some point, I would love to get back up there. But maybe when my daughter's old enough to go and kind of get it, you know. But yeah. Anyway, Fifi, I appreciate that question. And thank you for the question, because I realized that I have a lot more Clone Wars to watch. And now that I know that, going into this weekend, now that I know that going into this weekend, it won't be super surprising to me and kind of defeating when I go to sit down and watch episodes and look at my list. Now I know what I'm in for, and I know I need to like hurry up and bust my ass to watch all these episodes before the next season comes out. And I'm dead set on doing that, because I am going to be topical for once in this channel's existence, with Clone Wars and The Mandalorian and all that shit that's going to be coming out. So, boom. Darth Rodicus, thank you for the super chat and channel support, man. I greatly appreciate that. Cool if I toss another question in the chat. Absolutely. Yeah, you don't have to ask, man. Ask away. The chat is a free-flowing conversation. If anybody's actually hesitant to type in there, don't be, please. This is not just for Patreons. Patrons. But yeah, Darth Rodicus, thanks, man. I'll keep an eye on the chat. Yeah, feel free to ask away, man. And I'll hold off and wait for your question before I move on to Admiral Crust's question, because it's a long one. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Oh yeah, I wrote a video. What is it called? It's called "Where the Hell Do These Dumb Star Wars Rumors Come From?" That's the video's title. And I recorded audio for it earlier today, and it's me just going to a bunch of this stupid shit that we see nowadays. What's up, Chris? Good to see you, man. No, not much. I'm actually on the last Patreon question, and I'm waiting for Darth Rodicus to fire his question in the chat. What's going on, man? How are you? Oh, there's a rumor that I had to screenshot. A rumor. People need to stop using the term rumor, because when your qualifications for being a rumor is that somebody said it on Twitter, then I wouldn't call that a rumor. Would you? Just somebody said it on Twitter that Galaxy's Edge is going to be rebranded to a Aladdin world, somebody on Twitter said. So a website, Cosmic Book News, writes an entire article about how Aladdin is going to take over Galaxy's Edge. All right. Cool. Yeah, fired it on over, Chris, for sure. Hey, Grito, I asked a question above earlier. Maybe I didn't hear it as I had to leave for a few, and or you did not share. Let me see. How high up? Let's see. Greedo, do you think you're gonna go back to Star Wars The Old Republic? They added new stuff to free-to-play, and they are letting free-to-play play 2 of the oldest expansions. Oh, nice. And there's a new one coming in about a month. So, I'll never say that I'm done with that game. It's one of those games that, I've always wanted more time to play. In terms of, like, my streaming schedule is so kind of constricted nowadays, to where I usually just stream for 30 minutes at a time. And with the Old Republic, I really want to stream that longer, longer even than an hour, you know? So eventually I'll probably go back to it, just run through the motions and do some of the missions and stuff like that, and go through the storyline, and actually pay attention to the storyline this time around, because last time I streamed the story, I wasn't really paying attention. I was paying attention to the chat like I should. But no, that sounds cool, man. Maybe this weekend when my wife's out of town, I'm planning on staying up super late and watching those Clone Wars episodes. So maybe one of the nights I will, I'll fire up the Old Republic and play it for an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours. We'll see. Yeah. Darth Rodicus. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Oh, absolutely, Chris. Fire away. San Salvatore, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I greatly appreciate that, man. San says, hey, Greedo, I was at Galaxy's Edge last week, and I piloted and put the Falcon to hyperspace. So freaking cool, man. Sorry you didn't enjoy it as much. You know, if I was the pilot, I could see how that would be way more enjoyable. That only makes sense. Punching it alone, right, San? Punching it alone would probably be just the best experience of that park. But for me, I was an engineer, and you got a 2 and 6 chance of being an engineer, and it was okay. I honestly, man, I wish I wouldn't have even paid attention to the blinking lights to my left, because I don't know if they were actually doing anything. I would have rather paid attention to the front like you were doing, you know? Half of the time my attention was to my left. You already heard me bitch about it, but yeah, so the people who were pilots, I've heard a couple of them say they really liked it. I know one guy had the same opinion as me, and he did play as a pilot. So it seems to be I don't know what the general consensus is, San, I don't know what the general consensus is of the Millennium Falcon ride. I have not looked that up. Do people like it? Do people not like it? I have not looked that up whatsoever. I just got a cool idea for our website. But San, I'm glad to hear you enjoyed it, man. I'm glad to hear you enjoyed it. Galaxy's Edge is it's an experience for sure. And it makes me happy that you enjoyed the ride, because for me, you know, I was a little bummed out with it, and I think it was just because of the engineer slot, probably. That seems to be pretty reasonable explanation, but I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. But isn't it, the line into the Falcon for me is just, I mean, I would wait in a line to go into the Falcon just to see the interior of the Falcon, you know, as like a photo op. Would that'd be a cool spot, right? What if they had, you know, you get photos on rides like roller coasters, they take your picture and stuff like that. What if there was somebody in there taking photos of you in the Falcon, and you could just take turns sitting in the chair, you know, on the table? They should do that. I guess it would take up a lot of time. I don't know. Darth Rodicus, in one of your older videos, you compared Yoda's lightsaber in combat in the prequels to a beach ball in Woodstock with Limp Bizkit while Limp Bizkit is playing, which was hilarious. You don't seem to be the kind of person to listen to that band. I know you had mentioned in your videos that you were from Jacksonville, Florida. Were they a big thing in your city back in the day? They are from Jacksonville too, which is why I asked. I know, random. You're good. I typed too much again. That's why I sent so many messages. You're good, man. I listened to them what album was Faith on? At that time when that album came out, I actually didn't live in Jacksonville, so let me look. What a stupid name for a goddamn band. Let me see. 1997. So nope, I didn't live in Jacksonville at that time. $3 bill, y'all. Yeah. I didn't live in Jacksonville at that time. But I did listen to them. I was 11 years old when that album came out. And I listened to them quite a bit at that age, along with like Korn and stuff like that right around that age. And also a shitload of Nirvana and Foo Fighters and just a lot of, you know, Pearl Jam and a lot of that alternative and grunge scene of kind of the mid to early 90s even. But yeah, that was kind of my realm. I never really got into them after that. I never really, you know, I don't know. I haven't really... I never really got into them after that. I can't remember ever owning an album or anything like that. Yeah. And I don't know how big they were in Jacksonville. I'm assuming they were pretty big. I think we moved here in 2000. Yeah, I think it was... No, it had to have been 99 because I remember a block party when the Millennium came. So it was probably late 99. Yeah. I completely forgot about that reference. You could be making it up for all I know, Darth. I honestly don't even remember making it. Oh, yeah. And San Salvatore, once again, man, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I rode twice. The first time I had shit pilots. Piloting versus being a gunner was a night and day difference. Really? Okay. So that's interesting to hear. So maybe piloting is where it's at. Maybe everybody needs to be a pilot to get the full experience, which is kind of a bummer. You know, there's like little filler positions in the back. I almost wish maybe there were just 2 pilots and then everybody else just rode, you know? That'd be kind of nice. Well, maybe not. I guess I need to give everybody something. Or I wish the consoles were in front of you so you could actually pay attention to the screen, you know? That's interesting to hear, though. You did play the gunner and you did play the pilot, and it was a night and day experience. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, maybe, yeah, you know what? Tomorrow morning, I'm going to go down a little rabbit hole of people talking about the Millennium Falcon ride. I am very curious what the consensus is or how people feel about it. I'm very curious. It feels like something I should have looked up already, but I don't know anybody's opinion about the ride other than the people that I rode it with, you know. But I appreciate that support tonight, San. Brian Boardwell, what's something you like in the Clone Wars that seems to not be present in the prequels or the other movies? Well, Ahsoka. That's a good question. Well, I like some of the exploration into the Force, even though at times, like, certain things feel a little generic to me. As much as I did enjoy Mortis, and it's kind of the trippiness of it and the difference, how different it is from everything else, part of me thought it was a little, almost like, just out of place and a little too fantastical. You know what I mean? Showing us a little too much, pulling away the curtain and kind of ruining a little bit of a mystery. So I still enjoyed it though. Golly, when it comes to villains, I like, and even the Confederacy and the politics of the time, and I think the Clone Wars does one hell of a job at explaining what the prequels did not. You know, all the systems that are fighting one another, all the factions, all the motivations from the villains. I think it does a much better job at telling the story of the prequels than the prequels do. Does that make sense? So, I like how things are a little more fleshed out, which only makes sense, right, Brian? I mean, you only have 3 movies to make your thing and this you have how many episodes? 100? I don't even know how many episodes there are. More than that, I suppose, but yeah. And Chris, question: living with my girlfriend for the last year and a half has caused our TV habits to blend together. Example, she got me into The Bachelor. I know. And I love it now. No! What have you absorbed from your wife that you may be a bit embarrassed about? Oh, that's a good question. One that I really don't know how, or I really can't think of. I'm trying to think. See, me and my wife are so similar with TV habits and stuff like that. She can't stand The Bachelor and anything like that. We like watching the same kind of stuff. She loves The Sopranos and Barry, that show on HBO called Barry. We like the same stuff, which is pretty nice. There's nothing that I'm embarrassed about, you know? I don't get embarrassed about that kind of stuff, you know? I never have. Like, I like what I like, but I don't think there's really anything that I've absorbed that I would be embarrassed about, especially not TV or movies or anything like that, or music. Like, we've liked the same music. We grew up listening to the same music, and we like the same bands and artists and that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to think. I think the biggest thing that I've absorbed from my wife, and it's not an embarrassing thing or anything, it's food. I used to be a pretty picky eater, I guess. But since we got together 10 years ago, I've tried pretty much everything. You know, I still not the biggest seafood eater, but I like, you know, mild fish, tilapia, halibut, mahi, and swordfish, that kind of stuff. I don't get into shrimp or shelled fish or crab or oysters, but I would say the thing that's probably I've absorbed, I guess, is trying different foods. I'll try anything now. Did you guys know each other as kids? No, we knew each other briefly in high school, but we didn't talk from the age of 16 to the age of 22, something like that. 23 for me, probably. So, no, I didn't know her as a kid, but I briefly knew her in high school. But yeah. And we reconnected when I got stationed. All right, let's go. Last question from Patreon comes from Admiral Crust. All right, it's a long one. Here we go. Sup, Greedo? About 2 years ago, I was watching a Battlefront 2015 live stream of yours when I noticed a guy in the live chat. He seemed like a pretty chill dude, so I went to check out his YouTube channel. The name of his channel was Star Wars Media. Of course I know media. I noticed that he had a lot of cool content over there, but the channel banner needed a bit more spice. Because I had nothing better to do with my time, I made a nice Coruscant banner for his channel, and it only cost a friendship. Nice. Since then, we've been talking to each other, playing games, and generally having a good time together. Only a few weeks ago, after 2 years, we finally somehow got to do a meetup in Germany. Dude, he sent me a picture. He sent me that picture. To keep it short, it was very surreal and really cool. You're pretty much one of the main reasons why two people who are on the opposite sides of the planet, Latvia and the USA, became great friends. It's quite crazy to think about. Imagine how many other friendships like ours your channel has spawned. So, sorry, no question this time, but a huge thanks for creating your YouTube channel, Discord server, and literally bringing people together. Well, that is one of the coolest fucking things I have ever heard, Crust. Yeah, he sent me the picture of you guys hanging out. I mean, that is so, you put it well, surreal. That's so, this is just crazy to think about. That like a little community. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say. That's too cool. I mean, that this little silly stinking dumb Star Wars channel got, like you said, two people from the opposite sides of the planet to go have a beer in Germany. Or I don't know, did you guys have a beer? I'm gonna look at the picture real quick. I'm not gonna post it because I don't know if he wants well, where is it? Where did it go? Where the... Oh, there we go. Media. Okay, let's see. On the far right, and you, I'm not gonna say your name, in case you, oh, you did get beers, nice, is in the middle with his brother on the far left. They live in Latvia, and I live in Texas, so it was a big deal to get to see them. Thank you for making something like this happen. You truly have made a difference with your channel. That is the coolest thing. That is such a cool picture, man. That is such a cool picture. Yeah, Media seems like a really good dude. I'd follow him on Instagram, and he looked like he was having an absolute ball traveling around like that. But that really, I mean, that really puts a big dumb smile on my face. That's just too cool to hear. That this friendship was spawned from this channel. That's too awesome. I want one of those beers. The dark one. I want the dark one. Is that a stout? No, I would say that's... It looks lighter than a stout. And it looks darker than a brown. Is it a porter? I can't tell. I really don't know what kind of beers they have over in Germany, to tell you the truth. But Admiral Crust, thank you so much for sharing that, man. That's really awesome. There's... Oh my god, I didn't even know my cat was in here. I appreciate you sharing that story. That's without a doubt one of the coolest things I've ever heard come out of this channel, for sure. So I appreciate that, man. And if I'm over that way, let's do a meetup. How about that? If I'm ever in Germany, we'll do a meetup, Crust, for sure. I don't know when that'll be. I'll probably be 60. But I appreciate that, man. So, all right, guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I actually expected this to be a lot shorter because I didn't have as many Patreon questions, but I enjoyed hanging out with the chat and shooting the shit. As always, you know. But thank you so much to everybody who submitted their questions on Patreon. Thank you to all the fleet members in the chat. I cannot express how much your support means to me, means to the channel. It's one of the reasons that I mean, literally, it's one of the reasons that I'm able to stay home and watch my daughter. So I am endlessly grateful for that opportunity, because it's fun, and I would not be able to do it without your support. So your support literally allows me to make fun videos, have fun, watch my daughter so I don't have to put her in daycare, and yeah, just spread the love. So, all right, guys, I appreciate the hell out of it, and yeah, I need to do these more often. Maybe I'll make them twice a month. They're fun. All right, everybody. Thank you for the support as always. Those of you who are watching who are not fleet members or patrons, thank you for tuning in. And as always, have fun, be nice, kick some ass. May the force be with you. Don't step in the bullshit. Don't believe the rumor machine. Have some fun, drink good beer, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. See ya.